The moment she pulls back is the moment your chest tightens, your mind races, and every old fear wakes up. And here's the truth most men never hear. Sometimes distance isn't rejection, it's restraint. I'm speaking to you as a psychologist who has watched this pattern play out thousands of times, often silently, often painfully, often misunderstood. When a woman starts to feel something deeper than she expected, her nervous system doesn't always move toward you. Sometimes it slams the brakes, not because you did something wrong, but because what she's feeling threatens the version of control she's built her life around. Attraction is not just desire, it's vulnerability. And vulnerability is terrifying when you've learned that closeness comes with loss. Men are taught to interpret withdrawal as disinterest. Women are taught to regulate emotion before it spills out and costs them safety, dignity, or leverage. So when she feels herself getting attached, when she notices you occupying mental space she didn't give permission for, her instinct may be to create distance. That space isn't about you chasing harder. It's about her breathing. It's about regaining footing in an emotional landscape that suddenly feels unstable. Here's where most men make their first fatal mistake. They respond to her pulling away by collapsing inward or overreaching outward. They text more, explain more, apologize for things that were never crimes, or they shut down completely, hoping silence will punish her into clarity. Both responses signal the same thing: emotional reactivity. And emotional reactivity is the fastest way to turn attraction into anxiety. Understand this clearly. A woman who doesn't care doesn't pull away with tension. She drifts, she fades, she forgets. Pulling away with energy, with mixed signals, with sudden coldness after warmth, is often a sign of internal conflict. Desire is pressing forward while fear is yanking back. You are not fighting another man. You are not fighting her logic. You are fighting her past. From her perspective, liking you means risking disappointment, abandonment, or losing herself again. So she tests distance the way someone tests ice before stepping onto it. She watches, she feels, she measures your emotional stability without telling you that's what she's doing. And your response in this moment teaches her everything about whether closeness with you is safe. This isn't about manipulation, it's about psychology. When attraction grows faster than trust, withdrawal becomes self-protection. And the man who understands this doesn't panic. He doesn't plead. He doesn't perform. He stays grounded. He stays whole. Because the strongest signal of emotional safety is not pursuit. It's presence without pressure. What most men don't realize is that when she pulls away, she's watching one thing very closely: your nervous system, not your words, not your promises, your emotional regulation. Because deep attraction doesn't ask, is he interested? It asks, is he stable when I'm not? Women are biologically and psychologically wired to scan for safety, especially when feelings intensify. And safety is revealed under pressure, not comfort. When she creates distance, she's unconsciously running a stress test. If you panic, chase, demand reassurance, or try to force clarity, her fear is confirmed. Your need becomes louder than her capacity. But if you remain centered, if you don't collapse or retaliate, something powerful happens inside her. The fear loses momentum. Her body begins to associate you not with emotional chaos, but with calm. This is where male ego often sabotages connection. Many men interpret her withdrawal as a challenge to their worth. They think, if I don't fix this now, I'll lose her. That urgency leaks through every message, every tone shift, every forced conversation. From her side, it feels like pressure, and pressure suffocates attraction faster than distance ever could. Here's a hard truth: attraction grows in the space where desire meets freedom. When she feels she has the choice to come closer rather than being pulled, her emotions reorganize. Distance gives her room to miss you, to feel the contrast between your presence and your absence, to recognize that what she felt wasn't just excitement but attachment forming. Women who push away while falling are often fighting an internal narrative that says, I always lose myself, or I fall too hard, or men change when I get close. So she steps back to see if you remain the same man without her constant attention. Consistency without control is rare, and rarity creates value. Notice this: She hasn't told you she's afraid. She hasn't explained the conflict inside her. She likely never will. Instead, she communicates through behavior, shorter replies, delayed enthusiasm, sudden busyness. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because she's trying to regulate feelings that arrived uninvited. The mistake is thinking this moment requires action. Often it requires restraint. Masculine strength here is not dominance. It's emotional leadership. It's showing that you can hold your own center even when the dynamic shifts. That you don't need her closeness to remain grounded. That you choose her, but you don't need to secure her to feel whole. When you respond to her distance with self-respect instead of strategy, something shifts. Her fear expects pursuit or withdrawal. Calm confuses fear. Calm invites curiosity, and curiosity is the doorway back to connection. This isn't about playing games. It's about not betraying yourself emotionally just to keep someone close. Because the paradox is this: the moment you stop trying to control the outcome is often the moment she feels safe enough to move toward you again. There's a quiet psychological truth most men never hear, and it changes everything once you understand it. A woman doesn't move toward the man who tries to secure her emotions. She moves toward the man who can hold his own emotions steady while hers are in motion. When she pushes you away while falling, she is asking a question without words. If I lose control, will you lose yourself? Many women have learned through experience that closeness comes with cost. They've seen men become possessive, insecure, or emotionally dependent the moment attachment forms. So when she starts feeling pulled toward you, an alarm goes off inside her. Distance becomes a way to check whether history is about to repeat itself. This is not conscious strategy. It's emotional memory protecting her. If you react by over-explaining your intentions, trying to lock down definitions, or demanding reassurance, you unintentionally confirm her fear. Your behavior says, "I need you stable so I can be okay." And that creates pressure. Pressure signals risk. Risk shuts down attraction. The man who understands female psychology at depth does something radically different. He doesn't disappear to punish her, and he doesn't chase to soothe himself. He continues living his life with quiet consistency. His tone doesn't harden. His presence doesn't beg. He allows space without turning cold. This balance is rare, and rarity is magnetic. Here's what happens inside her during that space. Without your emotional energy pushing or pulling, her mind begins to fill the gap. She notices your absence without associating it with drama. Her nervous system relaxes. Desire that was tangled with fear begins to separate. And once fear loosens its grip, attraction doesn't need defending anymore. It starts moving freely. This is why forcing clarity too early backfires. Clarity feels safe to logic, but attraction lives in emotion. When emotion feels rushed, it resists. When it feels allowed, it deepens. You're not losing ground by allowing distance. You're giving her the room to choose you rather than react to you. Understand something important. A woman who is truly uninterested doesn't feel conflicted. She doesn't pull away with intensity. She disengages cleanly. Conflict only exists when there is something to lose. The tension you feel is not absence of attraction. It's attraction colliding with fear. Your role is not to fix her fear. It's to not amplify it. When you remain grounded, when you don't interpret her temporary distance as a verdict on your worth, you demonstrate emotional maturity. And emotional maturity is deeply attractive, especially to a woman who is afraid of falling too fast. This is where self-respect becomes seductive. Not arrogance, not indifference. Self-respect says, "I'm open, but I'm not desperate. I care, but I don't collapse." That energy allows her to move back toward you without feeling trapped or responsible for your emotional state. The irony is this: the moment you stop trying to pull her closer is often the moment she realizes she wants to be closer. By now, you need to hear this clearly, without illusion or fantasy. Not every woman who pulls away is falling for you, but every woman who is falling and feels unsafe will create distance before she creates commitment. The difference is not in her behavior alone, it's in how you respond to it. The final test happens quietly. She watches whether you turn her uncertainty into your identity. If your mood rises and falls with her attention, she feels responsible for regulating you. That responsibility kills desire. But if you remain emotionally intact, she feels permission to come closer without fear of being consumed or consuming you. Women fall hardest for men who don't require them to be certain before they're ready. Certainty grows from safety, not pressure. When you allow her to pull back without chasing, without resentment, without disappearing in protest, you show her something rare: emotional leadership. You show her that connection with you doesn't mean losing freedom or stability. This is why trying to win her back is the wrong frame. There is nothing to win. There is only alignment. Either your emotional posture invites closeness or it triggers fear, and fear always pushes away, even from what it wants most. From a psychological standpoint, her pulling away is often a boundary test. Not a boundary against you, but against herself. She's asking, "Can I want this without losing control?" And your calm answer is, "Yes, I won't rush you, and I won't abandon myself." That balance is powerful. It communicates strength without dominance, desire without need, interest without entitlement. These signals speak louder than any reassurance you could offer. And when she senses that she can step forward without being trapped, her resistance softens. If she comes back warmer, more open, more present, you'll know you handled it correctly. Not because you manipulated the outcome, but because you didn't sabotage it. And if she doesn't come back, here's the truth most men avoid: you didn't lose her. You filtered out a connection that couldn't meet you in emotional adulthood. That outcome is still a win, because self-respect always compounds, even when attraction doesn't. The men who suffer most in dating are not the ones who care deeply. They are the ones who abandon themselves the moment someone becomes uncertain. Confidence isn't loud. It's regulated. It's the ability to stay steady when emotions fluctuate, yours or hers. So when she pushes you away, don't rush to interpret it as rejection. Observe. Stay grounded. Continue building your life. Let her feel the absence without associating it with pressure or punishment. Let her choose rather than react. That choice, when it comes, is real. And here's the question I want you to sit with honestly before you scroll away. When someone pulls back, do you try to control the connection, or do you trust yourself enough to stay centered and let the truth reveal itself? Answer that in the comments. If this shifted the way you see female psychology and your own emotional power, like the video, subscribe for deeper truths most men never hear, and share this with a friend who needs to stop chasing clarity and start embodying it.